Thomas and the Rainbow Railway. Thomas the tank engine has got friends all over the island of Sodor. Thomas has friends at the farms, and the villages, and the main line, and his branch line. Everyone you will meet, they are all Thomas's friends, and so are all of the children. But there had been a storm on the island of Sodor the night before, and the Fat Controller was upset, so he came to see his engines at Tidmouth Sheds. He got out of his car feeling very upset. "Good morning," said the Fat Controller. "What's the matter?" asked Gordon. "The storm last night caused a lot of damage. You must all work very hard to clear up the wreckage. Henry, Emily, Edward, and James, I'd like for all of you to go around picking up all of the materials that had been blown over. Percy and Toby, I'd like you to help replace the roofs. Thomas, I would like for you to take the workmen to fix the telegraph poles. And Gordon, you shall make sure that all the engines have finished their jobs." "Yes, sir," said Gordon. "I will do my job the best, sir," said Thomas. Thomas didn't like when storms had ruined Sir Topham Hatt's happy mood, so Thomas wanted to please the Fat Controller. So he hurried away to the docks. Thomas picked up Annie and Clarabelle and the workmen at Brendam Docks. Edward was shunting there. "Woo! Hello, Thomas." But Thomas wasn't paying any attention. "Look, Edward! Look at the beautiful lines in the sky. Red, blue, green, yellow." "Those are some of the colors of the rainbow, Thomas," said Edward. "A rainbow always appears after a storm." Thomas was excited. "If you find the end," said Edward, "an old tale says that you will find special treasure." Percy was waiting at a junction. His steam was wheezing happily when Thomas arrived. "Hello, Thomas." "I'm sorry, Percy. I don't have time to talk. I have to find the end of the rainbow," puffed Thomas. "Goodbye." Thomas charged up Gordon's Hill, but as he charged his way up, he could see that the rainbow had moved. Thomas was upset. "Bother," said Thomas. "I shall have to try again." Thomas puffed under a bridge. He could see the children at the top. They waved and called to Thomas. "Hello, Thomas. How are you doing?" But Thomas wasn't paying any attention. "I'm sorry, children," he said. "I don't have time to talk." Thomas puffed across the island of Sodor, looking for the end of the rainbow. "Must find the end, must find the end," he said. He puffed down hills and through valleys. All the time he was looking for the end of the rainbow. His mind was occupied, and he wasn't paying attention to anything else. Finally, Henry asked Thomas for some help. "Sorry, Henry," cried Thomas. "I have to look for the end of the rainbow." And Thomas puffed around the bend. Henry was cross, but the end of the rainbow was always just around the corner. Finally, Thomas passed Toby. "Slow down, Thomas," cried Toby. "There is something ahead on your tracks." But Thomas still wasn't listening. He was really trying to find the end of the rainbow. He whooshed around another bend, and then there was trouble. He didn't see the telegraph pole, and he hit the telegraph pole. Thomas, Annie, and Clarabelle all came off the tracks and were derailed. "Cinders and ashes!" cried Thomas. "We're stuck. What are we going to do? We can't go anywhere now." Then Thomas heard a wonderful sound. It was Percy's whistle in the distance. He could see Percy puffing along. Thomas called to Percy, "Help! Percy, help!" But Percy was puffing away. Thomas watched sadly as Percy disappeared. "Percy isn't talking to me because I didn't have any time to talk to him," said Thomas sadly. "I was looking for the end of the rainbow." But Percy had heard Thomas. Percy was hurrying to get help. "Thomas is in trouble!" cried Percy as he puffed over the bridge, with Henry following quickly behind him. "Pass it on! Pass it on!" so Henry passed the message on. Henry told Scruff, "Thomas is in trouble. You must help him." And Scruff quickly told Bertie the bus. "Thomas is in trouble," said Scruff. Bertie told the children. "Oh no," said the children. The children told James. Quickly, James told Harold the helicopter. "Righto, James." And Harold the helicopter told Harvey the crane engine. Harvey the crane engine raced to Thomas's rescue. Finally, Harvey arrived. "Thank you, Harvey." "Thank you," said Annie and Carbo. At last, Harvey had Thomas, Annie, and Carbo back on the rails and re-railed. Harvey told Thomas how the message had been passed on. "All your friends helped rescue you," said Harvey. "Thank you. I must put things right," said Thomas. Thomas puffed all across the island of Sodor, taking the workmen to mend all the telegraph poles along the way. Thomas didn't try to find the end of the rainbow at all. Not once. And Annie and Carbo cheered him on for staying so focused. Thomas knew that he had to get his job done. And finally, once all the work had been finished, Thomas returned home to Tidmouth Sheds that afternoon. He saw the end of the rainbow. It was shining over Tidmouth Sheds. Henry, Percy, Toby, Edward, James, Emily, and Gordon were at the end of the rainbow. Thomas couldn't believe it. The end of the rainbow showed my friends. Friends are the most important thing of all, and Thomas had never felt so special